When Disney took over Star Wars more than a decade ago, their goal was to make one universal canon, making much of the old Star Wars EU content considered legends. Whether you like, love, or hate the Disney canon, the EU has some neat stories and scenes, and today I'm going to make 3 of those scenes from the Star Wars EU video games, comics, and books in LEGO using some of the most popular Star Wars characters. I'm going to start with the most iconic of them all, Darth Vader. In the novel Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader, Vader and an army of stormtroopers invade Kashyyyk to enslave the Wookiees to work on the Death Star and for Vader to find some of the surviving Jedi from earlier in the book. Here, he battles Jedi Master Rowan Shrine, who fights Vader to give the others a chance to escape. I messed up recording the build, so instead of a time lapse, we're going to just jump to the end and skip to the final build. This one here, I used a black border that was 2 bricks high and a fair amount of foliage and different levels of plates and plants to kind of elevate the terrain along with a couple of trees. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this one, although I think I could have done a little bit more with the surroundings and the terrain. I made Rowan Shrine using some parts from a few other Jedi I have laying around, including the hairpiece from the new Qui-Gon Jinn. I also have Vader posed standing very still, since in the book, it is mentioned that he is not very mobile and it's still very early after Revenge of the Sith. So while still incredibly powerful, fast with a lightsaber, he is mostly stationary and trying to protect that chest plate, which is what I tried to depict here, with Shrine making an attempt to stab him in that chest plate. Let me know down below in the comments if you have read this book and what you think could have been done to maybe spice up this MOC a little bit, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it does a very good job of depicting an early Darth Vader hunting down and destroying the Jedi Knight scene from the expanded universe, or now known as Legends, which hopefully they can maybe write a book that is considered canon to replace this one, because it is a fantastic book about early on Darth Vader. Next, we're going to one of every prequel fan's favorite yet underutilized characters, Jango Fett. And we're going to visit the video game Star Wars Bounty Hunter for this one. During this game, Jango is tasked with hunting down and killing Count Dooku's fallen Jedi apprentice, Komari Vosa, at her citadel in Colma. Due to the age of the game and the graphics, it was kind of difficult to get a crystal clear picture of what it looked like, but we can see it's a stone, almost castle-esque citadel with a staircase. Let me tell you, I hate building staircases. I always struggle with them. For the walls, I used some masonry bricks mixed with some plates and some normal bricks to try and get a little bit of texture along the walls. I wanted to make sure there was room all around for Jango to fly around when he was battling Vosa, since that was part of how he beat her in combat. For Komari Vosa, I used a conglomeration of different figure parts that I had to try and make something similar to what hers was in the game. I gave her the 2 red lightsabers, and this is what I came up with, especially using that Palpatine hairpiece from the Coruscant Guard gunship. Here is the final build, and it's probably one of my least favorite of the 3 I'll make today. I would probably try to use more 2x2 tiles and snot bricks to try and get that stone build texture on the wall, and this is definitely one that could have used a black border. But overall, it is a fun scene, and it's always fun to use Jango Fett in a MOC, especially when he is flying around like this. For this next build, we're going to use my favorite character in Star Wars, Green Lightsaber Luke Skywalker, and we're using a scene from The Last Command, the 3rd book in the Thrawn trilogy, also known as the OG sequel trilogy, where he takes on Luke Skywalker, a clone of himself by Jorah Sabayoth, a Mad Jedi clone. It takes place in the Emperor's throne room on the pre-Bad Batch Mount Tantus. This trilogy inspired many of modern Star Wars Day content, and I highly recommend it to those who have not read it yet. For this, I will use Luke from the Dark Trooper hallway scene, but without the hood. For Luke, the clone, I'm going to use an old Luke torso with a 2020 Luke head and a hood from the Dark Trooper scene, and a blue cape to go along with the blue lightsaber. It should be a blue hood, but I don't have one handy, so just pretend that this works. And then for this build, I'm going to use the black border to make it more of a diorama, keep the plates together, tile off the border, just smooth everything out. Speaking of smoothness, I want half of this to be a snot brick MOC. That way it's very smooth leading up to these brick built stairs. I just talked about how much I hate stairs, and here they are again just to spite me. But the limited concept art says it is needed, so I'm going to do it. And now I'm going to use this throne that I made after looking at some pictures of other thrones people in LEGO made online. I don't have the parts to make a Jorah, so I'll just use the both Lukes in the build. Looking at the final build, I actually really like this one. It's very simple, straightforward, but has a similar feel to the final duel on the Death Star diorama that LEGO made last year, and is a major scene from what I think is some of the best Star Wars content ever made. Here are the 3 MOCs from Star Wars Legends. Overall, I am pretty happy with these builds. There isn't a lot of source material to work with, and they are pretty simple, but I like being able to capture some of these underrated and underseen moments in the massive Star Wars lore. Let me know down in the comment section below which of these is your favorite and which MOCs from Legends you would like to see next. If you are still watching, thank you so much. We'd greatly appreciate it. Feel free to smash the subscribe and like button if you did like the video. It's free and it helps me out a lot with the algorithm. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all again next time.